Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Serby, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
And a very pleasant good evening. Welcome, everybody, to the ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. That is the head coach, John Wristen. He's right there.
Oh! That looked like a Halloween howl instead of a rock howl.
Well, maybe it's because Saturday or Thursday was a little scary, John.
Nice segue, Jim.
Good segue into the way the game went Thursday, but they don't always go as normal. And I'm trying to think back in the annals. Is that the first opener in my era, Joe? I know they won the opener, the very first game against Panhandle here. Have you ever lost an opener, John, as the head coach of the Thunderwolves till this week?
I don't really know. I don't really care. I got game two on my mind, and
He has not.
Okay, so I have not. That was the first. It's the first time he played the fifth-ranked team in the country, but
pretty good unit.
Let's just talk about that club, John. I think the overall thing that people came away with, that I came away with, you played a defensive front that's the best defensive front you've ever faced on any field with any Thunderwolf team.
I agree. It was funny. I talked to the head coach. I'm good friends with Coach Bailiff at Texas Commerce, and I called him after the game to make sure that we had an agreement that our tape would not go out to any other opponents because people tend to. Never mind. But I just wanted it, and I said, Coach, that was one heck of a ball game, and your kids played really hard, and I was really giving them a lot of compliments for the way I thought that Texas Commerce team played. I thought they played really hard. And then I said, but by the way, I think your front seven is probably as good as anybody in the country. And he goes, John, you know that I was defense coordinator at TCU for 6 years. I said, yeah, we recruited against each other when I was at Colorado. We had the same recruiting area. And he goes, that was the best defense I've had when I was at TCU. He said, that's the best defense I've ever had.
Doesn't matter what level.
So he said, yeah, those guys are pretty good. And I thought the key to the game that was kind of unsung little bit was their tackles and offensive line really kind of just stalemated what our strengths were. And you go back, and they kept grabbing it and pulling us down, and grabbing and pulling us down. It was like a different technique. It was like a Texas Lone Star steer wrestling competition and never got a call for holding. But I thought it was one heck of a opening competition, an opening game. You know, I wish, you know, you wish you had some things back, and you wish you had some opportunities. But I tell you, the wind it really played a factor, and it always seemed to me that we were going into it, and we couldn't change the field position, and then we got the fourth quarter and tried to make a run at it. And, so there was a lot of really good things. I thought there was two really good football teams, and that played, and we didn't manage the game very well offensively. I'm sure we're going to get into that, but I thought the two defenses played outstanding. I think we play that way defensively, and I know we're going to be much better in offense.
I look back on a few plays. You always talk about those handful of plays. First and goal for the 2. Don't get a touchdown there right away. You could go up 7-0. Could be a lot better. I guess you want to pick out field goal kicker, miss that field goal to go up 6-0. Maybe that'd have been a little bit extra money, and just keep fudging the scoreboard forward. Then the overturned touchdown late in the first half. That could have been a huge momentum shift right there. Then I thought maybe the fumble, in the third or the fourth quarter, when you finally got the wind going with it, and then you had to take the big sack and the loss, and it just cost you all. It seemed like you could have got something going on that drive, so you ended up having to waste a drive there, and then had the interception right after that.
I think half of our starting drives, we end up being 2nd and 15 or more, and you just can't win ball games like that. And there was a combination of things, and I think with Devin coming in, and his snap count was just a little bit different, and the wind blowing, it wasn't as loud. I mean, it was all those self-inflicted things that you talk about. But when it comes down to understanding it and how hot that stove is, it takes game. It takes game preparation to understand that no matter how bad you try to do it as a coach and try to simulate that. I think that, our guys were very frustrated after the game. They played their heart and soul out, and I'm proud of them. They gave it their all. And, like I said after the game, this one game doesn't define our season. We've got a body of work, and we got a great task in front of us.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people asked me on Friday what I thought about, it was 12-6, and what do you think? Describe your thing as the Thunderbolts. I said, you know what? It looked like a team that hadn't played in 650 days, but they were trying to do that against a very good football team. So had you played somebody of lesser caliber, I think those mistakes wouldn't have been as glaring. I don't know that, but I didn't see cause for panic. I saw cause for concern about some crispness, some polish, and you definitely noticed it when Devin got in because that was his first time with this group. And I thought the defense, Jim and I talked as soon as we put the headset down, I said, you're not going to look at it, but the defense just held the fifth-ranked team in the country without a touchdown. And that was an outstanding effort.
And they had a couple short fields, too.
Yeah.
And so I think, Jim, you hit it earlier when it was first and goal on the 2, and we don't get it in. And when you settled for field goals versus touchdowns, our goal is 90% in the red zone of scoring touchdowns, 100% scoring all the time, but you want 90%. We were 0 for 2 on that. And when you do that against a very good team, you lose your opportunity to win a ball game. And that's what happens. It's one of those things. And I think there's one of those things you talked about was playing a game in 650 days. I don't think I haven't coached a game for 650 days. And so I made many mistakes. I'll tell you the glaring one was Gunner comes off the field on first drive or second drive and goes, Coach, those balls are just so slippery. Those are brand new balls. And I go, what? And I go, no, we had them all with them, the bag, and I didn't check it. Where you get in a routine, you get in your checklist, you try to do those things. And so, sure enough, they're brand new balls.
Oh, man.
And that falls on me, and we couldn't change them out. And our specialists and our kickers that manage those things, that just falls on me when we thought we had a plan, but when you're not the crispness you're talking about, didn't say that right. But
no, it's not a word. I make it up. But.
Well, I'm just saying the reality.
Right.
We know what we're talking
sure.
about. It wasn't as clear-cut, defined. So those are the things that you just go, dang it, it's on me. And to Dean's, the field goals part, you go, and I'm at when I was at Colorado coaching special teams, it was coaching Mason Crosby. Okay, we're at Kansas State. We had the same type of wind. Right. We were out there and we're driving. I said, you got to take it if you're going into the wind and crosswind is quartering. I said, you got to take that thing outside the left upright so it draws it in. Did I go say that to D? No. So that's some of the things that I look back and I go, what the hell, Risto? And it bothers me that our kids could go compete against a great opponent, and yet I don't give them a chance. And those are the things I take away from the growth that we have in our body of work.
Sure.
I mean, it was one of those things that I just go, son of a gun. And I told the kids that. I told the kids, this is not on you. This is on me, and I explained all the reasons why. But I guarantee we're going to be better.
Well, the only problem is we've always talked about it. You got to be so darn perfect at this level, the way these seasons roll. A pro game, they got 17 games this year. Oh, man, we had a bad day. We can still finish, 13-4. We can have 3 more off days. Here you've got it now with that loss, you're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. that you got to, oh, man, we better run the table. If not, we could be putting it in other people's hands. But the thing is, we got to forget about that. We got to worry about one game this week.
The bottom line is all our goals are still intact. All our goals are still intact of what we want to do. And it's about learning the process and playing fast. And I gotta do that as a coach. I gotta coach them. I gotta understand the standard that we gotta have, and make sure it's not an expectation, because a standard is a measurement. Expectation is just a word. A standard is a measurement that you go by, and our kids are going to buy in, and we're going to make sure it's done right. So,
well, and nothing I saw or we saw or you saw live or on film or replays isn't correctable. That's the best part about that, is there wasn't a glaring deficiency in any area. There was a little bit in every area, and that collective is what led to a very close loss against a very good team. But all of the stuff you just spoke about is manageable and fixable.
Well, it's coaching, right? It's really coaching.
Coach them up.
And that's where I think, this one's on me to be able to coach better. And after being a head coach for so long and understand what you're doing, you're just going, what the hell, Risto? What the hell? So
rusty.
We'll be better.
Well, of course.
Well, the other thing coming out of the ball game, Gunnar got hurt. Question is, what's his condition this week? Is he going to be a go, or was it a? It looked like he was ready to get back in the ball game. And was it your decision to say, you know what, I'm not putting him back in no matter what?
Well, I really feel with the way the game was going, and I wanted Devin to fight through it and grow, because it was a lot of firsts for a lot of people in a long time. So, in my opinion, I thought if I put Devin in, I could lose it. I mean, if I put Gunnar in, I could lose him for the rest of the year. And I didn't want to do that. And I wanted him to understand the management of what our body of work is, where I was going. Versus I'm going to throw him in there to try to go win this game. I mean, I thought we could have won the game with the guys that we had. Is where I was going.
Well, and is he available?
Yeah, Gunnar's going to be available.
Oh, okay. And I think that was the text I got about 4 times on Friday mornings. How's the QB? And I didn't bombard you with texts like I normally do. I kind of let you have your moment.
Boy, your job has changed you.
It has. I'm a lot less inquisitive when I don't need to be. If that makes sense. But it's good for Gunnar. We like Gunnar. He's a good guy, and he's been around forever. So you don't ever want to see a player get hurt and his season be ruined in the first game.
Yeah, he only had 11 plays.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was smart. So,
what was the play they actually got? Was the roughing the passer penalty? Is that where he got the initial injury, or was it on the run around the sweep down to about the 5?
It was on the where he pulled it and ran it and got tackled on that shoulder.
Non-throwing shoulder.
Non-throwing shoulder.
Well, let's talk about the Cinderella story. They're late in the ball game. You decide to make the change. Let's throw the freshman out there, see what happens. And man, that close. I mean, that pass to the goal line. About that much too high. Had the guy open there, and that could have been something else. The pass out in the flat also, I'm sure, your Sykes probably feels worse than anybody. That ball might have been, I didn't see the film. I don't know if it was a catchable or it was a tough catch, but it's probably one he's saying, man, I should have had that. And I'm sure a lot of people say, man, if we could have had that, maybe could have put that thing in there. And but what a performance, though, leading up to that point.
Yeah, Stevie,
you've been telling us he's there, and we've watched him in practice. He does do everything right, it seems.
Stevie is he's got a little bit of a gamemanship, when he gets in and competes.
Coach's kid.
He's he knows what it's about. He's got a little bit of it, right? I mean, he can come in there. It's nice, calm, cool, collected. Sometimes the practice drives me crazy. Okay, it just drives me crazy.
It's because he's left-handed.
But I tell you that. He came in and added a spark, and everybody was really excited about his performance.
Wasn't it the thing that stands out most about me is he looks the role. He seems like his footwork is good. The ball comes out on time. Even when he had a little pressure, he rolled out. He never panicked. That guy was bearing down on him. He didn't panic. Guy hit his ankle. He just kept his, and he just doesn't seem to panic.
He's going to be one hell of a quarterback. I'm just telling you. After all this is said and done, he's going to be one hell of a quarterback. And I think you've heard me say this before, is that I want kids to play with confidence. And I know when kids are thrown in when they're early and they lose the confidence, it's hard to get that back. Right. It's so hard to get it back. So I'm a little more cautious than I probably should be doing those things. But Stevie's earned the right, and he's going to get some playing time.
All right, we'll take this time out. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. They brought out our grub, and we've got something new this week. We've got a little fried cheese.
Little mozzarella wedges. We got some wings and a little pizza.
I tell you,
Ryan's in the house tonight, so
yeah, it is wing night. All you can eat wing night if you want to come on out here to the ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. What is it, $18? You can just sit here and eat wings till you die.
I tell you, the food here is outstanding. As long as you don't get a chicken bone caught in here.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably got somebody around that can take care of that. So. Rock is in the house as well. Hello, Rock. There he is. Rock's ready to go. It's good to see Rock run out there for the first time this week. We'll come back after this timeout. We got a few of the plays from last week's game. We'll listen to those, get John's impressions of those, and continue on our show. We got questions lined up. If you got a question for the coach, 719-671-7574. You can text that to me. Once again, 719-671-7574. First this time out, we'll come back with more of the John Wristen Show here on Fox Sports Pueblo.
CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
We are ready to rock you. John Wristen Show, ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. Rock is in the house. Rock got the sprint out on the field. You can see a little bit of hesitation in Rock, that first run out. This game is like, well, is this really happening? And then all of a sudden, yes, it's happening. And then he made the dash out on the field.
Little stage fright.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about it. 6,500 fans there. John, it was a pretty good environment for football, especially that fourth. Fans got into it, tried to rally you guys. It was there.
It was. I thought the student section. I thought the student section was awesome. And
you know the student section is doing good, John, when the other team goes over and points at them after the game because they, well, we got you guys. Well, but that tells you they were doing good work.
We need to continue to have a great student section. I think they were awesome, and I thought that was a great crowd.
I love them being behind the opponent's bench too. We've been clamoring for that for a lot of years, and that's where they should be, giving them the business.
Well, John's talking about a few plays in the ball game, and we've got them queued up here. And I think the first really big play of the game was, old race car, Michael Roots taking it around the end. Let's go ahead and listen to that first play of the game.
Albertini in motion now resets on the right side here on 2nd down and 6. They give it to Roots off the right side. He's hemmed up, but he breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle inside the 5, down close to the goal line. What a run that time by Michael Roots.
That was bob and weave.
And just talk about that play, John. That was a pretty incredible run there to get you set up down there 1st and goal on the 2.
Yeah, that was a outside zone that we ran, and I think it was our split tackle got knocked back a little bit, and then Michael ducked in and then bounced outside, and then he saw him, and he kind of stopped as bob or the weave, you said, Joe, and your color comes.
He bobbed and then weaved.
They weaved, and then he came in and broke a tackle. They thought they had him, and Nico's blocking the guy all the way out of bounds, and Nico kind of lets up out of bounds, and the guy comes from out of bounds to make a play. And I go, why'd you let him go? And he goes, well, the ref said let him go. He's out of bounds. Well, I came back and made the play, or else we might have scored right there. You know, the little things right there. But you got to tackle him with a bunch of people. You're not going to be able to get him down with just one guy.
And he's got that stop-start. That's something we haven't seen. This is running back you for a lot of years, and didn't remind us of anybody that maybe a Le'Veon Bell where they hesitate and then go, that kind of stop-start. It was kind of fun to watch on that run.
Well, what would you grade his performance in that ball game? It was tough sledding against that front. I guess he had 50-some yards in the game, and had showed some burst.
Yeah, I thought he and DJ were kind of pairing off each other, and The tough part was when you were 2nd and 15 or 1st and 15, and you weren't able to get into what you had planned to do, and so you're just scrambling right here because there's not a lot of calls in those situations, and that boils down to coaching and execution, and we will be much better on that.
Well, we had a couple field goals in that first half, but the second one came after this play. This is probably one of the key plays of the game. We're going into the end of the second quarter, right before halftime. Looked like you had the go-ahead touchdown, but as it turned out, it was all for naught.
Straight for not back. They look over the middle, fire to the back of the end. Touchdown! Flag is down, though. Could be a hold here on the Thunderwolves.
Yeah,
this is coming back.
They all but tackled one of the up guys, one of the defensive linemen. They all but tackled him.
Well, how'd you see it on the film? Was it like John said there? They all but tackled that right defensive end, or was it kind of a quick flag, wasn't it?
It wasn't a solo tackle. Okay, so it wasn't all by
double
himself.
Double team shellacking.
No, Jonah just got caught up with not moving his feet, and the guy overpowered him with speed, and he tried to get the ball off and hope it wouldn't be a call, and so we were called for another holding call that wasn't a holding on Nigel's end around there.
Right.
And, you send plays into the officials and do those different things. And the one that was a touchdown, it was a legit call.
On that Nigel one, as soon as we saw it, there was no replay Thursday night. As soon as we both said that wasn't a hold.
No.
Yeah.
That was not a hold.
Well, I thought the other one, the non-holding call in the game, which could have been a huge play, was in the third quarter when Williams was rolling to the left, and I think it was Preston Garrett was trying to break free, and they just reached out and grabbed him. And they took him down, and the umpire's right there looking at it. It was the same umpire that threw the holding call nullified the touchdown. He might still be running up that sideline because nobody was there, John. That play was going up that sideline. There was nobody on that side of the field. What was his explanation there? Did he say uncatchable? I would say, well, the reason it wasn't catchable is because the guy got tackled.
Well, Jim, you took the argument right from me because it's what happened right there. And I thought
referees, John. Me and referees.
Well, that's not why we lost, but it had us a chance to gain some momentum. It seemed like every time we try to have some momentum, it seemed like we shot ourselves in the foot. So.
All right, so we move on from that play. Ended up settling for the field goal. Got a tie ball game going in the locker room.
I thought it was nice execution of the clock, getting it down there, and obviously we won a touchdown, and that put us out, but Dean made the kick there.
Well, before we get to that final play that we're going to look at, let's talk about the strategy in the third quarter. I thought the head coach did a great job there thinking it over and said, you know what, because we kind of questioned, we go, well, do you want the win in the fourth quarter or you want it in the third quarter? And, of course, that was their choice because you were going to take the ball, so it was their choice which direction. They decided to roll the dice and try to put a kill shot, I guess, on you in the third quarter, then hold on in the fourth quarter. Because whoever had that win in the fourth quarter has going to have a huge advantage.
Yeah, that win seemed to pick up right there. And we made a couple first downs, but we couldn't get to the third first down, right? I mean, we made a couple to make it interesting to get us out of that, but we couldn't get to the third first down, if that makes sense. And then you get going.
Yeah, you get going downhill.
You get a little sequence a little bit. And, we try to rugby kick it and line drive it in the wind. And that was when he held the ball up. It just took. How about the opening kickoff? Dean blasts that sucker.
Oh my God!
And it looked like your 5-iron he hit, Jim. And it just goes in right in the wind and catches up and balloons up on that. But I thought it was. That third quarter was tough to manage, and one of those things that we put our defense on a short field that whole third quarter, and we only give up really 6 points with that. And so we were lucky to come out of that. And we were hoping the fourth quarter to be able to we got some field position. And so.
Well, we were talking about the win. How about the up guy from Commerce fielding a punt and going instead of letting it go? I mean, that was wherewithal from a guy that wasn't that deep to be able to jump up.
Catching the rugby style.
Catching that punt and then being able to.
Yeah, he caught that one on the 45 and returned it about 10 yards right there on the 40. you put your defense in that short field, they put them in a tough position. But our defense rallied on that.
All right, let's talk about one of the key sequences of the game. I guess we've got maybe we got two more plays here. I can't remember what Benny's got lined up there. Benny, maybe we have the play in the third or the fourth or third quarter when they're driving. No, it's been the fourth quarter. They're driving. They got a chance to maybe put you away. You guys come up with a big stop on defense to force the field goal.
Well, Joe, it pretty much comes down to this.
This is the game. Commerce takes a timeout because they know this third down call is huge, and the fact that if CSU Pueblo can somehow stop them and force a field goal that they maybe miss, and then you have a chance, there's a lot riding on this play.
Thompson, the running back, on the right hip. Tried to draw him off there. Play action. Here comes pressure pass to the end zone. Deflected and almost intercepted. Great play by the safety there for the Thunderwolves.
I can roll the field goal too.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the field goal there. High snap, ball's down, kick is up, he hooked it, he missed it. Thunderwolves have life. Thunderwolves have life, Joe.
And that, as long as you got a chance, you have a chance. And right now, that's the one break they've been looking for the entire game.
Well, again, John, your defense, I mean, that was a game easily. Your defense could have said, you know what, let's just pack it in. Our offense isn't doing anything in this game. Let's just give up, sell the farm, game's over, cut our losses. They refused. They kept playing and playing, giving you a chance, one more chance.
Yeah, that was a situation that we kind of, I don't know if you remember back in 14 when we played Western State. And
yes.
It was about 4 minutes left in the ball game, and we throw an interception. And they hold it, and they have Austin Eckler, and they return it back to the 19. I believe that's where they got the ball. So we call that code blue. And so we just had a sudden change, code blue, and we've tried to practice that, and our defense held them to not getting a first down. And, the key was that reverse that they had down there, and our guys stayed home and made a hell of a play, and we were able to hold them from not getting in the end zone to give us a chance to go score again. And I really thought that was the key. When they missed a field goal, I said, we're going to go down and win this thing.
Okay. Well, kind of out of time. Let's see. I guess we could run the final play of the game where you had a chance there late, the last play. Time. Run a little twist. Pass on the flat. It's caught. First down. I dropped it. Incomplete. He had him, and the ball slipped away. Joey had him there for the first down. Just couldn't secure the grab. And I even said it on the air, John. I thought it was a little strong of me to say he dropped it. That was a tough grab, but it's one I'm sure Deontay says I could have had that thing, but he probably feels worse than anybody. But it would have been a great play.
Back in the day on Baylor Street, that would have been a catch. But no, I'm just kidding. I mean, but,
on the asphalt.
Yeah, on the asphalt. But the reality Stevie kind of left a little short, and Deontay couldn't come up with it. They both gave great efforts. And
well, the thing you got to worry about too in Sykes' position, he can't come back to the ball because he loses the first down. He's got to stay there and let the ball, because he just went where he had to get.
It's just
so the ball had to get there to it.
It's just one of those things that I'm holding my finger and it's inches between that. You understand that's the difference between winning and losing. Yeah. It's the difference between winning and losing, especially when you got two quality opponents going after it. And I believe that is the mark of coaching and getting a team ready to go.
Okay, we hope everybody enjoys that. We'll let John break down the key plays of the game. We're going to come back after this timeout. We've got a bunch of questions coming up for John this week. 719-671-7574 if you want to text me a question here. Or you can tweet a question to Joe.
We also got
and we got the hot mic as well. Hot mic is ready to rock for anybody that wants to come up and rock a question. We got a big theme with rock this year. We're going to rock it. All right, come back after this timeout. ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House, John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Got some new music this year, John.
I like it.
Benny Bash spinning the tunes back there at the station, our producer and engineer tonight. You can catch Benny each and every weekday on 107.9 on KBPI. If you like to rock in the morning.
There's rock right there.
She likes to rock in the morning.
And
rocking and rolling over there.
I know you're kind of a Dan Patrick guy when I've gone into your office. Like, Dan's kind of our kind of guy. But sometimes you got to change up, go to a little rock and roll. All right. Speaking of rock and roll, let's go to some questions, shall we? The first thing, I'll get it out of the way. I got 4 of them here. Everybody, when it's a big road trip, John, they want to know what you're doing. So tell us about the itinerary on Friday, what you got scheduled, when you're going to get there, where are you staying, what you're having for breakfast, pre-game, how the game's going to roll.
There's a lot of moving parts because this week I've been more of a travel agent than I've been a head coach, as you know, putting it all together. But we're going to leave Pueblo here at 1 o'clock. We chartered a plane. We were able to get some support and help to raise enough money to help sponsor a charter. And so we got about 112 people coming with us. We got 63 players that are dressing out, and so we got breakfast early Friday morning, and we got treatments and practice here, and then we're going to go to the airport about 11:30, fly out at 1, land at 5:50 Eastern Standard Time, and go straight to dinner. And we're staying at Amway Grand Hotel. It's really a nice hotel that we're going to stay at. And then we got meetings Friday night, and then Saturday morning we got breakfast and another walkthrough with another special teams meeting, and then rest and pregame meals at we got chapel at 2:30 and pregame meals at 3, and go through our routine and load the buses at 4:15 to arrive at this beautiful environment and go play at 5, and then I was going to say tip-off, but that's the wrong sport. Kickoff is at 7:06 Eastern Standard Time, and it's we're playing at the university that has the most Division II football wins in it, and so we're looking forward to having this opportunity to go compete.
I don't know if there's any extra pressure on you, John. But you're going to have a South Colt alum that's going to maybe come to the game. Maybe see it.
Wonderful.
I'm trying to remember her name in high school. It's her locker now, Janine Steyert. I think Steyert. Can't remember. Went to Grand Valley, former South Colts. Excited for Pueblo to come so she can watch a ball game. She's been telling her friends all about it. So maybe we'll see her Friday night and get to meet her again after 40 years. Say, oh yeah, that's you.
The guy, he didn't even remember my name.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having trouble. It's Steyert. I'm doing a Johnny. Steyert.
Okay.
It's her locker now.
Okay. Mr.
All right. So that's your preparation for that.
Will you go to the stadium Saturday, or will you?
No, I was going to, but there's a little travel time. If it was a little closer, I would.
Right, it's 35 miles from the hotel.
All right, Uncle Charlie checking in.
Love Uncle Charlie.
Hoping for some error-free offense this week.
Me too, Charlie.
He was very impressed by the defensive effort.
Charlie's a smart man.
There you go, Charlie. Here's, Mr. Ken, that's the same question. We already answered that question, Ken. So, all right. So, let's go. There's another one. Look at that. Everybody wants to know the travel itinerary for the game. All right. That's what we're doing. All right. Kevin Shriver's got
one quick follow-up. Explain to the listeners how much of a luxury it is for a Division II team to charter to play a regular season game.
Yes.
Well, I think that if we didn't, we'd have to fly into Chicago. Bus from Chicago to Grand Rapids, which will be on a good day, traffic day out of Chicago, would be probably 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Your old stomping ground.
And then returning after the game like that, there's no way to do it. So, Dr. Paul Plinsky and Dr. Mote, they let me go raise some money and help us out to be able to get things done. And our First and 10 club was really outstanding and been able to help us out. And so we thought we wanted to do it. Plus, our kids have a great opportunity to feel what a big time trip it is.
Yeah.
And I think the great thing, we'll be back here in Pueblo probably 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, versus we'd be on a bus trying to find a hotel in Chicago and have to get up and go. So the cost is relatively a wash
Right.
by the time you look at it.
Well, we get back 2 in the morning. Joe and I are going to go look for the ThunderZone speakeasy.
Well,
When we get back into
I
town.
catch a flight at 7:30 from
That's right.
Springs
You're
on
leaving
Sunday
there the
morning.
next morning. You might as well stay up all night with me
Yeah,
then. I'm on the tee at 7.
I have an aunt who's getting married in California on Sunday afternoon.
I'm sorry, tea time 7:30. They moved back a half hour. All right, Kevin Schreiber wants to know how you thought the two coordinators did in their first game back.
I thought, the master of the obvious here is that I thought Miles Cochaver was right on with his calls, and I thought the whole defense staff was right on, and they're going to have to be this week, that's for sure. And then, I think Wilk was put in we put ourselves in a tough position. When you shoot yourself in the foot, you don't have a lot of sequence of plays at second and 20, or first and 18 to come back. We moved the ball within the range, but if we could just eliminate those self-inflicted wounds that we had, I keep talking about that, but those are the keys that happen. Right. So I thought managing there when Gunnar went out, we went with Devin a little bit, and we had a discussion on the phone about should we go with Stevie here, and we decided to pull the trigger, and it worked. So
I gotta fess up a little bit, John. You like to fess and fix. I was a little bit hard on Miles early on because the DBs were playing so far, the corners were playing so far off, and then they would backpedal. They were getting those 8-yard outs and 8-yard quick. And I was like, Miles, move those guys up just a hair, man, because as soon as the ball snapped, they already start back again. Was Commerce's receivers that bad? Did you have to respect the speed that much, or was that just the way the base is taught?
I think it was really the first game of figuring everything out,
okay.
Right? Because you didn't have enough film to see on these guys per se, and
the last thing you want is some guy running by you, I guess.
Well, I think the biggest thing is don't go one play in 80, right?
Right.
And so if we can manage that, you got a chance to win a ball game, and so that's what they did. Keep everything in front of you.
No doubles.
Yeah, no doubles defense. One of our listeners knows you were fond of your former strength and conditioning coach, Alan Hedrick. He's on a plane today moving to Spain. Any message you have for Alan? Listens to I tape these shows and rebroadcast them. He likes to listen to the rebroadcast. So you got any message for Alan as he heads to Spain and slays on the beach for the next 30 years?
Good for Alan. Yeah, baby. Way to go. But Alan was a big part of our foundation of our program and our work ethic and our way our guys develop. And we couldn't have done it without Alan's ability to lead our weight room and help develop guys and laid a great foundation. And we're really excited about what the future holds with Tyson Gale, but Alan was one of those guys that really helped us out. So I'm really worried about Alan's life is if he's listening to our radio show. It must be pretty bored.
I'll make sure I cut up just this segment so he can listen to it on a loop.
Well, and people don't understand this. Alan Hedrick, the man, okay, but that position, that goes all the way back to the first thing we talked about after the 2008 season is this program needs a full-time strength and conditioning coach. After seeing what you're seeing and getting those guys in the weight room, not the weight room you have now, but it was like that. I remember you fighting hard for that position. And you said if we're going to compete at the highest levels of Division II, we have to have and not just for football, but for all our athletes. And I remember that this school never had anything like that until football needed that because of, obviously, but everybody's benefited from that strength and conditioning program.
I just think it's the way things should be done.
Sure.
And so anymore, you got a personal trainer for this, personal trainer for that. Jim's got my personal trainer as a putter on the golf. He's got it all. And so I think in this day and age, that's what leads you to a chance to go compete.
Well, speaking of putting, Tommy, my brother, forward press, John, that's the key. Little John Rahm forward press. He made everything on Sunday and Monday. Saturday, a little different story, but that's why he went to the playbook. and went to the forward press. So that's your little golf tip. We're going to come back after this timeout. We thank everybody for all the questions we had this week. Come back, we'll talk about this week's opponent, Grand Valley State, when we come back. ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Let them knock you around.
Little Cars action for you, bringing you back to the John Wristen Show here at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. How about that ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House? It's all-you-can-eat wing night, so you can come out here still, have a little post-game festivities with us here. Or you can have, I kind of like all-you-can-eat pizza. That pepperoni pizza tonight, outstanding.
It was really good.
We probably should have done a before and after picture. Because it was really pretty when they set it down.
Yes, now the fried cheese a big hit too.
They got great bone-in wings and boneless wings, and got a lot of flavors with it. And so,
well, what are you going to go? A little Parmesan, probably. You like that Parmesan thing where you dip it in the sauce? I kind of like to go naked.
Well,
with the wings.
I know. Yeah, that's a bad visual.
Can't unsee that one, can you?
No.
Well, I had to float it out there. Well, speaking of flying blind and naked into a ball game, we know nothing about Grand Valley because they didn't play last year. We kind of know their history a little bit, what they're going to do.
They didn't play last week.
So it's they got COVIDed out is the new term. Got COVIDed. So their opponent at the last minute could not make the trip to Grand Valley to play them, so they ended up without playing a ball game. They were originally scheduled to play Thursday. They tried to move it to Saturday, then they said, nope, can't do it. So this is their first ball game. So they're going to have those first game jitters, and you've got a game under your belt. That might be a little bit of an advantage.
Well, I think we've always said in coaching that your biggest improvement is from game 1 to game 2 through the season. And so I'm hoping we can clean up the little errors, the self-inflicted wounds, and manage this a little bit better than we did in our first week of action, and continue to help our defense continue to be successful. But I think that with Grand Valley not having a game and practice against themselves, and having a game let down, they're gearing up for this game.
Right.
They are making a big deal about 9/11. They're supposed to be skydivers coming in, bringing the ball. I mean, it's going to be an ultimate atmosphere. And I talked to a few coaches in their league, and they said it's one of the best atmospheres you could ever have.
Well, and every year in and year out, they're one of the top teams in attendance. In all of Division II, that stadium, right, they're upwards of 10,000 a game.
Right, and so it's. Why not, right? This is a we get to go do this, and so
all whites.
We're going all white.
All right, just like the Natty uniform. Now let's talk about what they do. Now we do have a little frame of reference, recent history when they came in here for a playoff game, and when they hit you on the first play of the game, kind of got you behind the 8 ball, never could quite get over the hump against them.
I thought that team that came in 15 after we went to Midwestern, won a game on the road, and got us to play for the regional championship here, and they got on us early, and they didn't let up, and so that was a well coached team, and they had a quarterback that reminded me of Sunshine on what's that movie? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's Joe's job.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, remember the Titans.
Sunshine.
Thank you.
Remember the Titans.
And
Novocaine.
That kid played awesome, and we got beat by them. We played them twice here in playoff games, and we've lost to them twice, and we're looking forward to going up there and doing going up there and competing and having a chance to get back on the right track.
Was Matt Judon on one of those teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy plays in the NFL and is a regular starter. And I remember we watched him going, holy cow.
Yeah.
This guy's good, and while he's playing on Sundays, good.
Well, they always seem to be pretty balanced. They can, they take what you give them, don't they? They're able to adapt. They can run it if they need to, and if they got to throw it in the air, they'll throw it. They'll do whatever you need to do to put you in trouble, don't they?
Yeah, I think, without us knowing the personnel. I mean, this is the toughest part of it. You don't know who they got coming back. Who is? I'll give you like Commerce, Tootie. There was more than 9 guys they didn't list that played on that defense. So you don't know what you're getting. You're going in the dark. At least for them, they were able to get on stream and see our game and do those things. I know they were trying to get our film, and I'm sure they got it, but you would hope they wouldn't. But the reality of this thing is that they got to see us. We haven't seen anything. We haven't got anything on them. So that's, I think, a disadvantage. But we played, so that's an advantage.
Maybe a react. Maybe you can't overthink it. You just got to go with what you see and play.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things that you go, you're not used to this, right? You're not used to
it's all
not seeing them play. You know, you're able to judge the speed and the strength and what they do. And so, you know, we're going in with the best game plan we can, and we got to be able to adjust to it for 60 minutes.
Well, if you do what you do and do it better than you did it last week, you got to take your chances with that against anyone.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, this is what we do.
This is what we do, and we got to make sure we're going in a hostile environment, in a great environment. I'm looking forward to seeing the Thunderwolves come back and play a hell of a ball game.
Probably in closing things out, I guess that's probably the main thing is go in there, don't get intimidated, come in and make them feel uncomfortable at home is what you got to do, especially defensively. Just come out and just, play your assignments, do your thing.
Well, I think I want our guys to enjoy the environment, right? I mean, you don't get to go to these places and not enjoy it. And then just go play. Let's just go play and have some fun and lay it on the line and let's close those plays that you got those inches to make the difference is where we're talking about.
All right, we're going to have the ball game for you on Saturday night. It'll be at 4:30 with the pregame. The kickoff is 5 o'clock local time, 7 o'clock. It's the Eastern time zone there in the Michigan area where we're going to be. They are having a watch party here if you want to watch the ball game here at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. But as always, when you're en route or leaving, you tune it to Jim and Joe, and we'll bring you the call of the ball game as well. Benny Bashman, our producer and engineer tonight of the John Wristen Show here at the ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. We thank everybody here at the Tap House for doing such a great job. For the head coach, John Wristen, my partners, Joe Servey, my name is Jim Brooks. Until we talk to you on Saturday evening, good night, everybody. Go Pack.